This fishing line removal was way more difficult and stressful than it needed to be. I think we've found a good solution moving forward. Hi, my name's Connor. I'm a wildlife conservationist. I run Window to Wildlife, and I love installing and live streaming cams and bringing it to you guys. And we really want to show you the behind the scenes, what it really takes to run these cams, to install them, and to manage big issues like this fishing line in the nest. So let's get started. So we almost lost, well, we could have lost Andy and Lena, the Osprey at Captiva Osprey Cam, but thankfully they're fine, but there was a lot that went into it. So Andy brought in some fishing line one day. He just brought it in with a stick, and fishing line is pretty bad when wildlife gets tangled in it. And they definitely need to go to a rehab center. And sometimes they can't even be rehabilitated. If the fishing line gets, down to the bone, which often it does, because when the wildlife struggles, it just cinches down the monofilament or the fishing line more and more and more. And it gets to the bone, and when you get bone infections, you have to amputate. And unless it's a rare bird that could do well in captivity with an amputated leg or a wing or something like that, really the most humane thing to do is euthanize. And the other thing that happens is lead sinkers. It takes just a grain of rice-sized lead to kill a bald eagle. It's toxic. That heavy metal is toxic. It gets in the nerves, and they die. It's not fun, and it is pretty hard to reverse that. If they get to a rehabilitator in time, you can reverse it, but it's tough. Sometimes it's permanent damage, and they have to permanently stay in human care. It's just really sad. And it's something that's very preventable. So I contacted Doug. He's our climber. He's a board certified master arborist. And we had to use 2 ladders, but we had to rent them when we first installed the cam. They were fiberglass. They were terribly heavy. It was like $500 or more to rent it for like 3 days. So I started looking around for aluminum ladder because it's lighter and we needed a 40-foot one. But we didn't want to get a fiberglass one. It's just miserable because you got to hike it in. I finally found one on the website direct from a manufacturer because Lowe's and Home Depot, they didn't have them. Nowhere local. I could have shipped them in, but it would have taken like a month. We bought directly from a manufacturer, I believe is Ohio. And they're like, yeah, we'll get it to you. We'll get you the order going in like 3 days. It should ship out within, 5 days. So we're looking at like 8 business days. And I'm like, okay, that's better than Lowe's and Home Depot. Great. I'll pay for expedited shipping too. The ladder was like $800, the shipping was like $200. So it's $1,000. It's a lot of money, but we have to take care of our Osprey. I ordered it, 8 days go by. I don't hear anything. I contact the company. It takes them 3 days to get back to me. I send them an email every day. And they're finally like, oh, sorry, we're delayed, but we're not gonna tell you why. Okay. Thanks. A little annoying. A week goes by and they're like, all right, shipping out to you. I'm like, amazing. Thank you guys so much. Great. Shipping delay. Stuck in Atlanta, COVID, there goes another 2 weeks. By this time, we're like, Andy and Lena are mating 5 to 15 times a day. If you haven't seen our previous YouTube video, right before they had eggs, they mated 10 times in one day. It was crazy. And we're like, man, like we're worried. It's still early in the season. They shouldn't be laying till like February, March, at the earliest, especially if they're going by their schedule from the past years. Man, we were wrong. They laid pretty soon on. So shipping delay after shipping delay, they finally arrived in Fort Myers. But then it went to a sub shipper or like a distribution like small shipping company. They called me like right when it arrived, like, hey, where do you want it to go? Like, is there a gate code? What's going on here? I was like, yeah, just, we can leave it by the side of the house, put it under this pavilion, this cover, it'll be good to go. And like, awesome, we'll get this out in 2 days. I'm like, perfect, okay, cool. Chat, we're gonna have this taken care of in 2 days. We're lining up a climber to be out there, right when the ladder arrives. And then I get a call the next day, like, hey, sorry, they only actually go out to Captiva Island, on Tuesday, and it's Wednesday, and I forgot, to put the ladder on the truck. Sorry, it's gonna be next week. All right, well, we have to wait another week. Oh, well, now the climber that was gonna go up has something else going on. He can't climb up there. Great. It's just all this drama just to get the fishing line out. I contacted Crow. I was like, hey, do we need any permits? Just to double check. Crow, US Fish and Wildlife, and Florida Fish and Wildlife were absolutely amazing. They got back to me so fast, even when the holidays were right around the corner. And we had a chat via email, and they're like, nope, you don't need any permits. It's off season, there's no eggs yet, you're good, take care of it ASAP. So we got permission. Ladder is on its way, and it finally gets to us a week later. Thankfully, Lori, the landowner and the one who originally got these cameras, contacted us to get these cameras installed, found someone to climb up there, and great people, and they came out there ASAP. They did a fantastic job. They got the ladder up there. It was a little sketchy. It's 40 feet plus up. They've been around Osprey Nest before, not this high, but they've been around Osprey Nest. And I was on the phone with them, we were watching them on the cameras, and I told them, like, look, if you need to, just rip the fishing line out. We got to get it out. The Osprey will rebuild the nest if they need to, but getting that fishing line out is a plus. And they did a good job. They yanked it out. They got it. They didn't do much damage to the nest at all, but they got down and they pulled out a larger chunk than I had seen come in, and they got in hooks and some lead sinkers as well. So more stuff than we knew was even in there. They took the ladder down, they moved out. I double checked on the camera. They called me before they were getting down, double checked on the camera. Was it 15 minutes later? Andy and Lena were back, like nothing ever happened. It was great, wonderful. And now that ladder is there, stays there permanently. Hopefully we never have to use that ladder, but if we do need to use it, it's there. We don't have to wait for anything but permissions from the government and a climber to come up there, which is really cool. So thankfully we were able to get that fishing line out, because they had eggs very soon after, 3 eggs. And osprey platforms or nests are very shallow. And if there's osprey chicks in there, like, they could get a hold of that. And that's just not good. So it's something easily preventable. I think fishermen and people out using monofilament lines, they don't have the intention of leaving it out in nature, but it happens. My advice for that is they should try their best to recover fishing line and any monofilament sinkers and hooks that they can. Fish get away, it happens, line breaks, you know, you can't do anything about that. Just reduce the amount of debris out there as much as possible. And then what do you do with the fishing line afterwards? Well, most fishing places or docks in Florida now have fishing line receptacles. A great place to put monofilament line for recycling. They'll even turn them into benches, which is kind of cool. And then hooks and sinkers go in there as well. There's so many great resources. I'll link them down below. Clear Your Gear on Facebook is a wonderful group to join. I know lead sinkers are very cheap, but they're all alternatives, and if you can afford it, get the tungsten or steel, lead sinkers. And if they do get lost, it's not as big of a deal. A bit more expensive, but if it does get loose, you're not hurting wildlife. Thank you guys so much for getting to the end. It really helps boost this video in the algorithm, and if you haven't yet, like, comment, subscribe will also help. We hope you guys enjoyed the behind the scenes look and kind of all the logistics it takes, the money, the stress, the drama that goes into running these eagle cams, these osprey cams, and we're gonna show you more of this. There's a lot of cool stuff that happens, and we just kind of want to be more transparent, bring you guys on the journey and the ride. We couldn't have done this without Crow. If you feel so inclined, if you want to say thank you to Crow for all the rehabilitation they do on Captiva Island, Sanibel Island in the local area, we'll leave a link down to the donation link for them. They are a nonprofit. They are absolutely wonderful. One of the best wildlife rehabilitators in the nation. We're so excited to work with them and have them next door to these cameras. So thank you to them. All right, we'll see you guys next time.